Have you ever heard of matrices before? Well, today we're going to talk about matrices, so you better be ready. In fact, those of you who are doing the CSEC Math exam, this is one of the topics that you need to know, matrices. Whenever we hear the term matrices, one of the first things we could probably think of is the movie The Matrix. However, what is a matrix in maths? Well, a matrix is an arrangement of numbers, symbols, and or expressions in rows and columns. Maybe if you ever seen like a box that looks like it has numbers in it, that's a matrix. Now there are some key elements in a matrix. The first one that we need to know are the square brackets. We have the rows and we have the columns. These are the three important elements. So we're going to use a little roof on top of our matrix here to give an idea of a house, and we'll call it the matrix house. We'll use this to help us explain these elements. The first one, square brackets. These are used to enclose the arrangement of elements in a matrix. So as you can see here, we have square brackets. Now there are different types of brackets. We have the curly, angle, and round brackets. However, we want the square brackets. Notice how they have like right angles in the corners, just like a square. That's why we say they're square brackets. Number two, rows of a matrix. Rows represent the horizontal arrangements in a matrix. In other words, rows run left to right. Now, let's think of our house again. So, we have some windows on the top, and on each floor they run from left to right. So what we can say is that windows on the same floors are like a matrix with rows. Windows on the same floors are like a matrix with rows. Out of all the elements, the last ones are the columns of a matrix. These represent the vertical arrangements in a matrix. In other words, columns run up and down, as you can see here. Columns are one of the most important things that hold up a structure in a house. So we're going to say that the good thing about columns, they run from top to bottom so that they can hold that weight of the house. So in our matrix, the elements that go from top to bottom, they are the columns of the matrix. So just to remember what those are, we have our square brackets, our rows, and our columns. Talking about squares, there are different types of matrices. We have the square matrices, rectangular matrices. Now let's talk about square matrices. What are square matrices? So square matrices have the same number of rows and the same number of columns, just like a square. A square has the same length and width. So just like that, we have matrices that have the same number of columns and rows, just like our square. Now there's a special type of matrix that we call the identity matrix. This one, if you notice, will have 1 0 0 1. This specific arrangement is considered the identity matrix. We're going to talk about that in another lesson. So rectangular matrices. Rectangular matrices do not have the same number of rows and number of columns. Just like a rectangle, rectangles do not have the same length and width. A rectangular matrix does not have the same number of columns and the same number of rows. Let's just take a moment to subscribe so we can be updated on the latest videos, and share this video or tell your friends. Then remember to like and leave a comment so we can know what to do to improve these lessons for you. Now, we have to talk about the order of a matrix. Now the order of a matrix, this refers to the dimensions or the size of the matrix in the form number of rows by number of columns. So we're always going to use the rows first, then the columns. So in this case, we have two rows. Remember, they run across just like our windows, and we have our columns that run from top to bottom. So we have 3 columns here. So our order of this matrix is a 2 by 3. So we're going to go through some questions now to test everything that we just went through, to see if you guys could remember what we did. It's tutorial time. Question number 1. What is the order of the matrix shown? What is the order of the matrix shown? Remember, we always do rows first, then columns. So we have 3 rows and we have 3 columns. So this means our order is a 3 by 3. This matrix is a 3 by 3 matrix. That's the order of that matrix. Is a matrix shown as square or rectangular matrix? Is a matrix shown as square or rectangular matrix? If you said square, you guessed correctly. Why? Because we have 3 rows and we have 3 columns. So when our number of columns and rows are equal, we call it a square matrix. Question number 2. What is the order of the matrix shown? So in this case, we have 3 rows and 2 columns. So the order of this matrix is 3 by 2. This is a 3 by 2 matrix. Now, can you tell me, is the matrix shown as square or rectangular matrix? Again, remember we always start with the rows. So 3 rows and 2 columns, they are not equal. So because they're not equal, we say it's a rectangular matrix, just like a rectangle. Sides are different. Question number 3. What is the order of the matrix shown? Now you see here we have 2 rows and 3 columns. Be careful when checking for the order. Always remember to put the rows first, then the columns. Always remember that. So, is the matrix shown as square or rectangular matrix? Guess this one was easy. We have 2 rows and 3 columns. Remember, the good thing about columns, they run from top to bottom. So this is a rectangular matrix. Now question 4, which is going to be our last question. What is the order of the matrix shown? I don't think we need all this time to determine that. Let's see what you got. We have 2 rows. Always remember, rows first. I'll keep saying it over and over. And columns second. So we have a 2 by 2 matrix. So this should be straightforward. Is this a square or a rectangular matrix? Definitely is a square matrix. So we know that this is a square matrix because the number of rows and the number of columns are equal. Have you noticed anything special about this particular matrix? This matrix is the identity matrix. And this is something that we're going to talk about another time. So as you can see, what we covered today came from this objective. We needed to explain the concept of a matrix, a row, column, square, identity, rectangular, and the order of a matrix. These are the things that we covered. Now that's a wrap. We got some key fundamentals that's going to help us moving forward with matrices. So remember this stuff, take note of it, and hold on to it. This ain't no play man thing. Stay tuned, stay focused, stay ready, be small.